Innovative new mattresses are coming out all the time.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Wednesday, December 10th. It is 6:24 right now. We got market opening up in about 6 minutes. So we'll give a few moments for people to make their way in, and then we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. So looking at the list of trades, there's a lot of trades again today. Hopefully we have some actual entries today that actually play out. I mean, we'll see. It's been a lot of no entries for the past 2 days, so we'll see. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right, we got 23 listed trades. Pretty much the same exact um target entries from yesterday, which is normal. It shouldn't have changed too much because there was a lot of uh no entries, of course. So we'll see what happens here in a few. Yeah, the listed entries have changed slightly, but target entries are for the most part the same. Set a connection loss. Let me see what's good here. All right, the accounts look fine. All right, guys. Let's see. People are on their way in, so let me see what's going on here so far. So, morning, Lila. Morning, Maria. Morning, Saren. Morning, Masish. Morning, Karen. Morning, everybody. Morning, Michael. Um, yeah, in other news, we're starting to you know, process the data that Masij has gotten. So I think Masij said by the end of this week, if not Monday, we'll have some of the data pretty much filtered through. So that'll be good. Just to improve on like what we currently have. And then over the next 2 months, we'll have more stuff to work with. So excited for that. Hey, Paul, morning. But yeah, a lot of exciting things coming for the algo. I mean, we have a pretty good thing going right now, and then with the data and the filters, we'll be able to really hammer down a little more. Yeah, Masih said, yep, stage two will be done by the end of this week. We'll have more info on current strategy from stage two. Yeah, definitely. That'll be good. Just to kind of have an idea of like what we need to adjust. I mean, for the most part, I think everything seems pretty good. The main adjustment, I think, would probably be the TP stop loss, maybe. Our criteria is pretty decent. I mean, it's not bad. Here, I'll put the criteria over here for you guys. So these are the main algo criteria. Um, I've done a lot of research and this is it always goes back to max drawdown. I think max drawdown is going to be the most important thing. The biggest thing also about the max drawdown and the profit factor is really going to be looking at it at scale, I think. We don't really need to look at it at scale because obviously the edge kind of changes, minute by minute, uh, week by week, month by month, day by day. But for the most part, looking at certain times that have really good max drawdown at scale would be pretty good. Thing is, we're looking at trades that have low max drawdown anyway, so it's we're using a rolling basis, so it's not going to be a big difference if we look at something on a bigger scale, because obviously something's not going to be profitable on the minute chart long term. And by long term, I mean like, 5, 10 years, etc. Because we're always moving through different market regimes. But all right, guys, market's gonna open up shortly in about 2 minutes. If you guys want to take the breakout on open, there's no trade listed for that specific time. Here, let's see. I'm going to put it up right here so you guys can see the statistics for that specific trade. I think because of I mean, there was a no entry yesterday, so I think the statistics have kind of changed a little bit for that one. It's not horrible. It's just max drawdown's a little higher. So the max drawdown is currently 11.02. It has to be below 10% for it to be listed as a trade. Profitability, probability of profitability is 55%, so it's not horrible. And then the profit factor is 1.592. So The breakout on open is not super bad, but it just doesn't meet the criteria with max drawdown. Because so if you guys weren't here yesterday, we talked about max drawdown being a very key metric. The reason for that is because if you if you're able to identify a max drawdown that's lower than, we'll say, 8%, right? 10% is good, 8% is better. This will basically make it virtually impossible to blow your account, right? This is using a 2% risk per trade. Obviously, you'll probably be using less, but I increased it a little bit to kind of make it more realistic with the smaller sample size that we have here, which is 2 weeks or 4 weeks actually. So we got market opening up shortly in about 20 seconds. Again, if you guys want to take the breakout on open, it's going to be a buy. I'm not taking it, and it's not listed as a listed trade. But if you guys do want to take it, um, candle's going to close in about 15 seconds here. Hey, Brock, morning. Morning, CJ. Morning, everybody. All right, the first listed trade's going to come up soon. Not a target entry, but it is going to come up pretty soon. So market is now open right here at 6:30. Big spike up and down right there. Let's take a look at the overall trend. Overall trend here is bearish, actually. So 1 minute's bearish price is below the pivots. Trend meter's red, pivots are angling down. Bearish on the 5, bearish on the 15. So lower time frames here, it's a bearish trend. Higher time frames, it's bearish as well. So bearish on the 30, bearish on the 1 hour. 4 hour here is turning bearish, but it can shift right back up. So again, this is why I don't personally look at the trend or technicals when we're applying the algo, because the trade can work out perfectly in the direction that we just mentioned, right? So the breakout's running to the upside. I told you it's going to be with momentum for a buy. So the breakout right there is pushing up in profit. And this is what I mean about, technicals kind of being irrelevant when you're using the algo here. So the algo showed that the buy here would come up. The buy did come up, and it won even though the trend here was bearish, right? Everything was bearish, but the algo still hit for a buy right there. So there goes to 629. Looking over here at market structure. So market structure right now currently on the 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 15 is neutral, 30 minutes bullish, 1 hour is neutral, and the 4 hour is bullish. So it's a little mixed. A little choppy. But again, we'll see where this ends up going. So we have an entry right here that's currently kind of running through the first listed entry. Obviously I want to take that trade, but first listed entry right there at 6:30 for a buy. Yeah, we got the good luck cup right now. We got Alina's good luck. Good luck. Hello Kitty Cup. Darren is asking, was that a 829 or 830 entry? Which one are you referring to, Darren? The one that we have marked up right here is the open. It wasn't a listed trade, but it was the open. We just always look at the open, even though we don't take it, because other people that's so if you guys are not familiar with the algo is based off the breakout strategy. That's literally what it is. That's why we always look at the 630 or 629, even though we don't take it, because this whole strategy is based off the breakout strategy, except we move it minute by minute, right? So instead of just looking at that breakout on open, we're now looking at it minute by minute. So that's pretty much what the strategy is based off. We're trying to identify breakouts before they actually happen, right? We're just looking for momentum moves in the market. We're looking for whales to really make that movement push. A lot of times they trade around the same time, so we have the list of entries to kind of identify that. Over the years, we talked about like how the breakout is not really it's not really a consistent entry, right? So for me personally, I don't even look to trade until like maybe 640. So any listed trades that come up before here, I don't really like taking it. The reason for that's because of this huge choppiness, right? See how price is chopping up back and down, like up and down right here. We don't really like that because because like I just said, it's very inconsistent. Like you could be right and price can easily spike you out before it comes right back down, right? And that's just it's not something that you can consistently trade, of course. Like yeah, you'll have wins and losses over there, but then a lot of times you'll have losses that are actually wins and they just lose on open, but then they end up winning right after. So I'm just marking up some structure here. It's not really necessary or required, but I'm marking up structure there, of course. So th this is pretty much the statistics and data that we're looking at right now for the first initial um, breakout on open. I mean, not breakout on open, our first target entry, I believe. So these are just the statistics, has overall P&L of 26%, max drawdown of 7.64, probability of profitable trade 60%, profit factor of 2.272. This is how it becomes or how it became a target entry. All the statistics are right here. For buys over here, it has a 72.73. For shorts, it has a 44.44. So we'll we'll see. And the thing here that I looked at too, and I know this is something that Masih was looking at before. I like to look at patterns of losses, right? So for example, this trade, whenever it only has usually two back-to-back losses. So after two back-to-back losses, it typically has a win. So most recently it had two back-to-back losses. So, the probability of the next trade being a win is very likely, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So if you just go down the list of trades, two back-to-back losses, win-win, two back-to-back losses, win, and that kind of helps with, probability. You're just kind of like there's like building blocks to the probability, of course. Like you want to have like some sort of set probability just to have the trade listed, and then you'd have different criteria to kind of improve on that. All right, let's see. Masij said, Sean, I want to get your thoughts on a couple insights and if they make sense to you. Our current system is finding trades back test over 4 weeks. So really we are betting on the same pattern to carry for 5 weeks. We are chasing the past when we should really be chasing the future. We don't know if it's profitable, but by only 6 to 7%. I've been thinking deeply about how we can overcome this. If we use a shorter time frame, then we will get newer trends, but not as much confirmation. Yeah, I was kind of torn between that too, Masij. I was thinking because every day I'm doing more and more research on like quant trading and hedge funds and stuff like that and how they operate. Um, so I was thinking if we should use a bigger sample, right? A bigger or smaller sample. I mean, I don't really know what would be best. They both work in a sense, but like you said, um, if we use a smaller sample, we can identify emerging trends. And the thing is, that's kind of how momentum works, right? Because we'll have the emerging trends and we'll be able to piggyback on those emerging trends right away, versus bigger samples. Like say, for example, we're doing a 20 trade sample, which is 4 weeks. If we use a rolling basis of like maybe 2 months, right? So maybe 8 weeks. The numbers will be a lot lower, but you'd have more confirmation that way, right? So I mean, they both work in a sense. They both work depending on like what we're looking for. Um, so I think we would have to run the data to kind of see if that's really feasible. The reason why I say that is because and we have an entry that's coming up right now, guys, 637. This is going to be against momentum for a sell. We currently have a sell momentum right here, so there's not going to be an entry there for that. It's going to be a no entry. But here, let's take a look at like what I just talked about right now. Masij, I'll change the statistic. I'll just change the range real quick, and then we'll see how that affects it, right? So let's see. So uh let's go to like 30 days. right? It doesn't change very much. Profitability is still good. Let's go to 90 days. So this is where I find it to be a problem, taking a bigger sample size, right? Because you'll see that the 655 is actually not really a good time if you look at it on a bigger scale. Like from November 20th, basically a month ago till today, it's pretty decent how it works during this period. But then you do it on a bigger scale and it actually doesn't work very well. I think if we're going to do it on a bigger scale, it has to be higher than the 1 minute time frame. The 1 minute time frame, I don't think you'll be able to find something super consistent because things are always changing and there's always market manipulation and news events and stuff like that that kind of spike these trades out before they can hit target. Um, or, the other thing here is that we would have to use a wider TP stop loss. I think a 40-20 doesn't always work, right? Sometimes market's too volatile and it doesn't really help very much. Because like I said, it can easily spike trades out, but these trades can technically win if they move in a direction. So, I move this to a 90-day sample, which is 64 trades. I mean, it's still good though. Like you look at it right here, anything above 33% would be profitable. The max drawdown, I think, should be lower than like 20% because we have a bigger sample size. And then same with the profit factor, right? It's good. It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. So let's go to a year sample. Okay, so year sample here, see how it kind of balances out? When you go from like 4 weeks to 8 weeks to a year, it shouldn't have a big change, right? If you see the profitability and the profit factor and the max drawdown, if you see that it kind of stays in shape, right? So like it jumps from like 43 to 42 within a year's time. This shows that there's plausibility to this specific time, right? So it only goes from 42% and then at 365 or basically a whole year it only moves by like a little small percentage point, right? So 1.3, and then from right here, it goes from 43 to 42, 1.2. So if you guys look at this right here, this shows you that the 655 is actually a decent time. It's not a bad time. If you see this jump from like 20%, or you see it go from like 40% to like 10%, then it's not a good time because there's just no consistency, right? You can see there's like down periods right here, but eventually it picks back up and it becomes a good strategy. Because, if you traded this for a year, basically you'd have almost 100% profit or profitability, and the max drawdown is at 20. But of course, we would minimize the drawdown. Like instead of using a 20% or 2%, we'd use like a 1%, right? And if I was to change that here to 5 contracts, see, it becomes a pretty plausible strategy. You're using 1% risk, you're only doing 10% max drawdown. Profit factor pretty much stays the same, and profitability stays the same. So 655 is actually a good time overall. Let's go to entire history. So let's go. We went from 257 trades, and now we're going to. This is a pretty deep back test, and this is 40-20. So again, right here, see, it doesn't change a crazy amount. It went from like 40 to like 36. Profit factor is okay, but you can see there's down periods and there's up periods, down periods, up periods, down periods, up periods, etc. But eventually, it moves pretty good. Right, max drawdown's 24%. I think this is still good, given that this is 772 trades. Um, I mean, yeah, for the most part, it shows at 655. If you took 650 this trade at 655 every single day for 772 days, you should still make 50% of profit. So this shows you that long term the strategy still works, even though the numbers here kind of suck because obviously, not a strategy, not one strategy is going to work good for 772 trades. That's why we have to kind of shift it around with different times. So this just shows you that this specific target entry is going to come up very often throughout the year. That's why it's a good thing to use. But yeah, let me put this back to where it was. So yeah, Miss CJ, I mean, looking at that there, I mean, for the most part, it looks good. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's different ways to kind of work through this. Um, I mean, the big things are going to be really just adjusting. I think what we could do is we would just have to like go on a bigger scale. I think what I might do myself is I might just run these statistics on, or we're gonna have the data, so we don't really have to do that, but I'll probably run it for the entire history. So we'll have like an 800 trade sample. And then I'll kind of lower the I'll lower the criteria a little bit, mainly to like so we can kind of dial in like kind of like a funnel aspect. We have like a big sample and a big list of trades, and then we kind of dive in to see which ones work really good long term. And then we go on like from full data, year data, 6 month data, 3 month data, etc. And then we can kind of just, if those align with what's happening for this week, then we can kind of just choose those. But the thing is, like with trading and just in general, is you can't really predict what's going to happen next, right? I think that's the biggest thing, and that's something that I wish we could do, but you can't really predict what's going to happen next. You can kind of anticipate, but you can't really predict because there's a lot of different factors out there. Even though it's based off the data, there's a lot of other factors out there with like, news and like our trade yesterday. Our trade yesterday could have played out, but there was news at 7 o'clock and that kind of screwed up the movement. The stop loss is a little too tight. So yeah, Masih said, yeah, that's what I mean. This is the problem that most people get into in quant. You either get too small of a data set and you don't get real trends, or you do a too large data set and the patterns just become lost in the noise. Yeah, exactly, Masij. I agree with you 100%. Hopefully, when you run the data, I mean, hopefully we can find some key aspects that'll help us, kind of identify trades a little better. Um, but yeah, I think, it's kind of tricky because the yeah, we're trading momentum. And so here's the thing, we're trading momentum. For one, we're trading momentum. For two, we're trading momentum on the 1 minute time frame. And for three, it's hard to really find a lasting trend, right? A trend that's going to last for more than a month, more than 2 months, more than 3 months, etc. Usually the trends don't last very long, especially on the 1 minute time frame. They last for like maybe 30 minutes, right? Like for example here, right? So like an hour, the trend shifts like almost every hour, basically, in a sense. I think if we can pinpoint the trend between like 6:30 to, or yeah, 6:30 to 8, that'll be a better sample. Just identifying, how long the trends typically last, uh, for an hour and a half, basically open until 8 o'clock. All right, guys. So we have another entry over here, 645 that just came up. It was against momentum for a buy. Again, it's no entry because we have a buy signal here already. So another no entry. Let's see what we got here. We got one more coming up in a bit. This is going to be with, if you guys are looking at the list, you guys can see what's coming up next. Yeah, CJ said 637 went straight to TP. Yeah, CJ doesn't go with, he doesn't trade the specific direction, so it would have worked out perfect for him right there. If you're not trading in a direction. I'm still using direction for right now, but for the most part, some people aren't using direction. They're just taking the trade as is. All right, we got this other trade coming up right now. As you guys can see, it's with momentum, has a 9.70 max drawdown, 55% overall, 45% for buys, 66% for sells, profit factor of 2.689. Yeah, Masih said because our current strategy, to me, it looks like it's a classic overfitting on past trends. By overfitting, I don't mean intentionally, but the nature of our current system relies heavily on past trends. It needs to account for what's happening in the day. I think I have a solution, but it'll take me a while. Instead of a set time frame, I was thinking of making adaptive, as it will find a combination of micro and macro trends to find the real best ones. This is going to take me a long time, and it's unrelated to the deep back test, more related to our selection system as a whole. Yeah, no, definitely, Missy. I agree with you. Um, because it relies a lot on previous data, right? Like you said. So like in order for us to really make this work, we have to, I mean, in a sense, we kind of have to see where price is going to go moving forward. Or if we have like, enough data and it shows that, just following the current statistics that we have, then we can just trust it and anticipate that it's going to happen that way. Um, But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell because like sometimes these trends last longer than others, right? Like for example, this one, if we were just to follow the momentum here and wait for it to reverse, and then vice versa the other way, that's one way of doing it too, though. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do this, but yeah, we'll build off that and we'll kind of see where it goes from here. All right, guys, we have the entry coming up right here. This is with momentum. Oh, there's another no entry. So we had an entry right here at 648. It was with momentum, but it was for a sell. The reason why there's no entry right here at 648 is because there was no sell signal here, right? So we have a third entry right here, no entry. We have another one coming up in about like 5 minutes. So we'll uh we'll wait for that one. Yeah, Paul mentioned ATR's at 31. Brock said he was looking for that MPS V2. Yeah, Massive said, yeah, most quant systems use past data then adapt intraday. We were kind of already doing this, but that's what our discretion is. We're using past data and adapting intra-market. The problem is we can be wrong. We need a system to adapt itself intraday. Yeah, exactly. I was looking, so I mean, I was doing a ton of like, I went down a rabbit hole yesterday, kind of looking up different quant analysis. A lot of them use machine learning, obviously, AI, et cetera, to kind of help predict what's going to happen next. Um, and you've probably seen these videos too. Yeah, exactly. We don't have the funding for that. Um, like machine learning would be great, but yeah, it's going to be super, super expensive to do that. So it's gonna be tricky. I mean, there's a couple different ways we can do it too. We can kind of use tools that are already available to identify patterns in conjunction with our entries. But there's, there's a lot of different ways to improve. It's just, like you said, it's the funding really. Um, and the thing is, like the market's always changing and the edge is always changing, so it's not necessarily going to be great. It's going to be an ongoing project, of course, if we were to do something like that. Maybe in the future, yes, but right now. Right now we just got to pull a small edge. We don't have to pull anything crazy. We just have to pull a little bit of an edge to be profitable, make consistent profits. I think that's the key thing here. Yeah, I mean, if that was the case, it would be readily available. But yeah, that's why a lot of these other quant firms there, they put millions and millions, if not billions of dollars into AI and stuff like that to kind of, create these predictive models and stuff like that. But we'll see. So, I mean, one thing that I can see here is kind of using, let's see, so the 37.45. So right here, the algo did identify the reversal. We had a reversal against momentum at 637, and then it pushed up. And then at 45, another one, but it didn't actually turn this other way. I think one of the easier ways to kind of identify or have a good confirmation is using the against momentum. So for example, we had an against momentum at 637. It wasn't followed with a momentum, but if we had something like that where it was against, we saw the turn and then we saw the confirmation of with, you could jump in from that direction, right? Same with this one over here. There was an against momentum at 645, which was basically right here. And it's starting to turn this way. The only thing is that the next entry is going to be for a buy. So it actually doesn't work in that situation, it just identifies consolidation. Let's see if there's some MPS V2s that came up here. So no MPS V2s here for a sell. There's an MPS V2 which came up right here, but a little choppy. So buy signal, retracement, confirmation. Depending on where TP stop loss was, it might have survived it, might have gone caught in the chop. But price is here is now pushing up. So I think one thing that we could use in a sense is maybe one more confirmation, one technical confirmation, right? For the entries. I mean, it's a possibility. There's so many different factors that you can factor in, but that's one thing that we could maybe look at in the future, is really having one technical confirmation, maybe just the trend, right? Well, that's kind of what we're doing anyways. We're trend following. The problem is that the trend doesn't last very long. So, I mean, it could be beneficial or it can do the opposite actually. But again, we'll figure it out. You know, it's going to take time for us to kind of figure out what data sets we need, what specifics do we want to follow. Um, and stuff like that. I think that the main thing that I might have to look at really is going to be looking at stuff on a bigger scale, basically using data that is going to reflect basically long term, and then funnel it into like the smaller data sets of like 4 weeks and whatnot. All right, we have this entry coming up right here. This is a listed entry, not a target entry, but listed entry. For those of you who are looking to take it, if you guys are looking at my algo list right now, it's coming up. We got a cluster of trades actually coming up in a bit. So there goes the first one. We got the next one.
Order submitted.
Waiting to get this up.
Order submitted.
About 20 seconds left. See if I get it in there.
Order filled.
All right, so it is currently earning it's about 26 points in profit. We have a cluster of trades right here, so it's pushing up right now. 33 points in profit. Right there. Full TP right there, guys. Full TP and solid win right there, guys. All right, so there goes target filled. There we go. Great work, guys. Finally. So this did exactly what I said was going to happen, right? I told you guys that this trade here had two back-to-back losses. So I said, okay, two back-to-back losses. Let me just pull this up for you. And this is, again, going based off the data, right? I don't care about the trend. I don't care about none of that stuff. I mentioned here that this trade only loses twice. And after it loses twice, it has a win, right? Lost twice right here, November 18, 19, win. Lost over here, December 2nd, December 3rd, win, win. Lost here December 8th, December 9th. What's going to happen next? Win, right? And what happened with our trade here? Win. So I took that trade right there. Really good trade. We recouped the loss from Monday, I think. Was it Monday? Yeah. So we're in profit overall for the week so far. So pretty good win right there. Happy with our result. Again, like I said, this is based off the data. You just have to, or not you, but I have to really trust the strategy, right? And I trust the strategy here. I ate shit for like basically the past 2 days, taking those losses, or I did it myself. And then we took the win right there. So nice win on that, guys. Great work to see everybody here winning on that. Um, and we'll see what we got next. Anyways, there's a nice win right there. So there's a couple wins here actually. So win. I mean, they continuously won here. There's another trade that's actually following up right here, but this is an overlap. So I mean, obviously I wouldn't take that one. Yeah, this trade right here would have been overlap. But all right. Yeah, Ed said beautiful trade, guys. Justice said 55 win, definitely. Jonathan said love to see it. Paul said cluster candle sitting at the top of resistance point as a sell trap. Smith said got it, first win in a while. I know, felt good, right? Felt good to finally have that there. Jesus said solid win. Brock said should have added. Yeah, I agree. Um, nice. Yeah, Brock said he's out 90 points. And let's see, Masih said also, Sean, based on what I'm seeing as the API was running today, your filters are pretty spot on, at least for stage two initial testing. This is what this stage two will give us is not so much what to change, but mainly the data for the past 5 years. Yeah, no, and I agree, Masih. I think that's good that we will have that data so that we can kind of base it off like, specific times to see if there's any better times or worse times. But yeah, great work, guys. Drew's asking, are you done after a win, Sean? Or are you possibly taking another setup today? Possibly taking another one. We have other listed entries here. So we have one, we have about three more coming up. So yeah, I'm still looking to get into other trades here. I mean, if we do have one, great, but we'll I mean, who knows, right? I don't know if we're gonna have uh here, let's check the data real quick. I want to see the data to see, well, the problem with this trade over here is that this hasn't came up often, this one that I'm looking up right now. But I want to see what the statistics look like here. This has been a no entry for a while. I don't think this has came up in a while. But this one has had it was one, two, three back-to-back losses. So with that being the case, I mean, looking at the list of trades over here, that doesn't happen very often when it loses three times like that. So if this comes up, I mean, we'll see. These are shorts though. We're looking for a buy. So obviously it doesn't work well, the shorts. And you can see whenever it has a short loss and it's followed by a win, it usually wins. So we'll see. That's going to come up in about, 10 minutes or so. But we do have three more listed or target entries to look at. So I'll be looking. I'm not completely done yet. Yeah, definitely, Brock. We'll see you back here on Thursday. So I'm going to step away for 1 second, guys. I'm going to grab some water and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's see. So we got um oh no, this trade would have overlapped, so I wouldn't have taken that one. So let's put overlap there. Let's see what we got. You got this one that came up while I was gone. Oh, lost, it looks like. Wasn't a target entry, but would have been a loss. That we got this one coming up. So we got one coming up right here, guys, against momentum. We don't, well, if you guys want to take the against, you guys can, but I personally don't. It's going to be for a sell right there if you guys are looking to get into it. Mhm. All right, so obviously wouldn't have taken the trade right there. 57 was a. So this would have been, looks like a loss, but no trade because it was against momentum. Again, this is a reason why I don't like this is a clear example of why I don't like taking these against momentum trades because you're kind of fading the trend, right? You're fading the trend and you're fading momentum in a sense. Usually the momentum is going to move in the direction of the trend. And when the trend's strong, it keeps pushing, right? Doesn't mean that the reversal is not going to happen, but I would say odds of reversal happening, if we're going to do it on a scale, it's probably to be between like maybe 30% of the time. 70% of the time it'll fail and keep moving that direction. That's why we don't take the against momentum trades for the most part. All right, so let's see what we got here. Um, let's see. Justice said profit target hit for the day, so I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks, team. Yeah, definitely, Justice. We'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm gonna update my calendar. It's been a long time since I've updated this. I'm gonna update it right now so we can kind of see where we're at. I'll see if it'll even let me update it on there. All right, so let me see the next entry. The next entry is going to be coming up in about 5 minutes or so. It's going to be the target entry. So the problem with this target entry is, and you guys will see why, it's going to be for a buy. Price can be a little bit overextended. Volatility here is starting to kind of die out a little bit. I mean, we'll see. We got this entry coming up shortly, guys. The volatility here is getting really, really low though. So I don't know if this is going to be a good entry to get into. I mean, like I said, we're trying to pull my discretion out of this, but looking at this here, it's pretty flat, right? And you don't want to take trades when the market's this flat. I mean, if it's moving back and forth, great. Like if it's ranging or consolidating, great. But if it's flat like this, like flat, it's there's just no momentum there. So if you guys are just joining in, we only took one trade for the day, which was this one right here. It was a full TP. There was another trade that came up here on open. We didn't take the open, but this is the one that we took with pretty much all the accounts. So that's currently where we're at so far. We got price pushing up right now. See what we got. Let me check the statistics on this one. So the thing that I don't like about this trade here specifically are the statistics, right? So I'm looking at it so far. It looks, I mean, it looks okay, but here, let me just kind of play around with it. So let's see. Let's go to a 30-day sample. I just want to see if this is consistent or not. So it's at 50. See, this is a big drop from 50 to 40, 34. I don't know if this is a really good trade in a sense. Not similar to the 655 one. I mean, it's okay, but you can see over here, it's actually not doing. It did well back in February. So February 2025, it did well, and then it just been bad ever since. They just started picking up again a little bit, but let's see what the entire data looks like. To me, about a 700 trade sample. Um, yeah, I don't know about this one. This one isn't as good as a 655. If you guys want to take this one, it's coming up. But I'm looking at it over here. The max drawdown is really high. It's overall not profitable long term. So this is a 772 sample. This is what I was just talking about with Mesige earlier. Like I kind of want to take a sample of like the bigger scale and then funnel it down to the smaller sample sizes because this bigger sample size shows that it's for the most part. So here in 2023, it wasn't doing so hot. Yeah. You know, this in comparison to like the 655 that we took, that was actually pretty decent. But looking at this here, it looks like it's just doing well for right now, but it doesn't normally do this well in the long term, of course. So if you guys want to take it, it's coming up right now. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad trade. You can see right there the longest started. And the thing with this is that this isn't, you know, the past data is not conducive for future results, right? It can easily be on a streak right now. But like I said, there's a couple different factors here. Again, I try to pull out my discretion here, but I was just looking at different things here. Like for one, the main thing that kind of threw me off the most was that this market volatility was dying out pretty flat, and then it started picking up right here. The trade's in profit, so it's looking good so far. It's just, you know, again, I use my discretion here to kind of pick and choose what I decided to look at specifically, and it just didn't look that great to me like as a long-term entry time. So not to say that this won't work out, you know, I would never want to fade my own analysis here or my own strategy. So obviously I would like this to hit, but I didn't feel confident enough to jump into this with you guys. So if you guys want to take it, feel free. We'll follow up with you guys right there. We'll see how it sits. This is kind of what screwed me over on Monday, right? Or I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday, but one of those days we had it where the volatility was just flat. It was also at a sessions. It's not at a sessions today, but we had structure that where price was stuck at, and we were stuck in that position for maybe 5 or 6 minutes until it started to turn the other way, right? Let's see. Sam said, I got one MPSV2 so far. News was good earlier. Nice. Was there news today? There was news at 7, right? Or no, there was so there was news pre-market, and then we had gas stock. We have gas stock change coming up at 7:30. This happens every Wednesday. Today's actually a pretty big day, guys, because we have the interest rate decision coming out at 11. Um, I don't know. What do you guys think? You think the cut's happening? The thing is, like, nobody saw the cut happening last time, and it came. And I think a lot of people are not expecting a cut to happen today, and it's probably going to come. It's a really tricky and touchy subject for a lot of people. I think it's crazy that we're dropping the interest rates, but I mean, it is what it is, right? Trump wants the interest rates to drop, so they're probably going to drop. But it's not really that good for the economy because we're on the brink of going into a recession. So he's making money cheap for people. So, the interest rate cut is good for businesses and business people and people who know what to do with the money, right? It's not good for consumers. Right, interest rates come down. So here's like the domino effect, and I'm gonna take this off. We can take this trade here. It's a good thing we didn't take the trade because it did exactly what I mentioned, right? Didn't play through. So, going back to our interest rate discussion, it's good for people who know how to use it properly or who are, financially savvy, right? Because money will be cheap. You could pull money to buy things, grow your business, refinance your house, et cetera, do stuff like that. It's going to be bad for different consumers because for the main general public is if the interest rates go down, they're not necessarily going to be cheaper, but financing is going to be cheaper. And people are going to finance things that they shouldn't be financing, right? Buying a new house when they can't really afford it, buying a new car when they really can't afford it, taking out advanced loans, right? There's a lot of stuff that kind of come to play. And this is just like, a basic fundamental side of like the interest rates. If rates are low, um, money is cheap in a sense where you can pull money and if you have something to use it for to multiply, then great. But a lot of people don't know that, right? Most people are not financially savvy. So we'll we'll see. Yeah, Andrew said non-inflation is still too high. Exactly. That's the thing too. So inflation is high, but that's what's gonna screw us in the long run, right? If the interest rates go down, people are gonna pull money, they're gonna pull loans and stuff to have cash, and they're gonna buy stuff that they don't need. And with that being the case, inflation's high, so stuff's still expensive, and it's this bubble's gonna explode basically. They're basically giving out money to people who shouldn't have the money to begin with. And eventually they're just gonna keep spending, spending, spending. They're gonna default on their loans, and then we're gonna have another financial crash. But we'll see. Yeah, Masih said, and since it's not good for consumers in the long term, it's not good for businesses. Exactly, yeah. Because, once all those financial loans and stuff like that get defaulted, then they're gonna need another government bailout, right? We're already in like a multi-trillion dollar debt right now. So if you guys follow history, in order for us to get out of that, what's going to happen next? We're probably going to go into another war, right? It's not good for the world. It's not good for the economy. Um, it's crazy. It's just like I don't like going into like conspiracy theory type things, but you think about it, it's a cycle. It's like inflation goes up, rates go down, we have a financial crisis. And then we go into this big reset, like stuff like that. If you look at the history of like how the world works, we usually it happens like a recession, something builds up to the recession. Recession happens, we go through a financial reset, we go into a war, and then it just resets again. Yeah, Ryan said Venezuela. Yeah. It's crazy, it's the place that you don't really expect it to happen either. Everyone's thinking, oh, China or Russia or, wherever it may be, Korea. And then Venezuela comes up out of nowhere. in the news. Who knows? We'll see. Not to scare you guys, but that's kind of like that's the world, right? It's the world. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with the interest rates today. I do think that I personally don't think it's going to drop, but my gut's telling me, yeah, it's going to drop another quarter. And then we'll see what happens from there. Let's see. Masih said, all right, heading out now. I have work on deep back test. Won't be trading because I have to focus on the deep back test. We'll pop in every day, but won't be trading. All right, Masih, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Kim's asking, do you think it will push the market up or down if they cut? Um, It'll likely push it up, Kim. I mean, if we're going off the basic fundamentals, I think it'll push it up. But again, things don't work off, how things are supposed to move. So it might come down initially and then come right back up. Yeah, we're in such a weird time where the fundamentals kind of don't make sense and they don't really matter. And everything is based off emotion for the most part. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. That's why I don't trade news anymore. If you guys remember, I used to trade news a long time ago. Whenever a news event came out, I would trade the opposite. It's really hard to predict now because it was a lot more easier. It was a lot easier to predict back in the day, but now it's like, you could have good news, market comes down and then comes up for manipulation, or you could have bad news and price could go up and then come down, or you can have bad news and price will just go directly up. It's it's a weird it's a weird dynamic. That's why for me, I personally try to stay away from news in general because I feel like it does more harm than good. All right, so I mean, let's look at the entries that have came up so far, guys. So the 713, I mean, this one didn't come up, right? Yeah, it didn't work. It just got shooken out. So there was a 713 trade that came up right here. I think it just got shooken out. It looked like, yeah, so it just got spiked out right there, and it looks like it would have hit target. But it's all good. I didn't take that trade because I kind of anticipated it. This is why, discretion, it's hard because we want to take our discretion out of it, but in instances like this, it does help sometimes. All right, 716, it was against momentum for a buy. This one over here did win. So loss, win. We're not going to document this trade, but I'm just going to put it on the list, of course. So it was a win, no trade. 717. That one's still running, but it would be an overlap. Let's put overlap there. 718, sell, no entry. So if you guys are looking at the spreadsheet, I'm updating it as we go. We have one more trade coming up right here. So we have a cluster of trades coming up right here. I don't think they're going to come up because they're for sells. We currently have a buy momentum right now as we speak. So nothing there right now as we speak. All right, let's see if my trade's updated for the day. What the heck? Weird. Let me try to add it up again. Just trying to upload my trades to my Tradeovate, or not my Tradeovate, to my Trader Sync, but it's kind of Weird. All right, let me go over here real quick. Yeah, I'll update that in a few. Once it's done. All right, guys, we have this trade coming up at 725. It's going to be a no entry because it is a with momentum for a sell. There's no sell momentum here yet. It's pending, but it's not closed yet. So we do have a cluster of trades. It might not come up on this one, but the follow-ups may happen. It's a cluster of 4 trades. Let's see. Sam said Fed's cutting the rates. Definitely. I have faith in them. Yeah, no, they're going to get rid of Powell soon anyway. So I think Powell's at that point where he doesn't care. They're going to have to swap him out pretty soon. So they can try to get as much out of him as they can. Either way, the next Fed chair is going to be Trump's choice. So, oh man, it's going to be a crazy market, guys. Well, I mean, it's already a crazy market, but the thing is, I mean, depending on who's the next Fed chair is going to, it's going to have an impact, of course. Like if it's Trump's choice and it's somebody that's going to just keep doing cuts and deregulating and stuff like that, expect some volatility in the market, not just in trading, but in general. Um, Powell's been pretty good at being very conservative and consistent with changes to regulation and interest rate cuts and stuff like that and spending. But I don't know. The thing is like Trump and Powell don't get along, so I think Trump's going to try to push for someone that's going to be doing things in his favor. Yeah, a lot said the reset will include moving to crypto and blockchain. Trump already has half of his wealth in crypto. I mean, we'll see that. I mean, it could be. It could also backfire, right? Because a lot of people might not have trust in that, well, not in that specifically, but in Trump's decision. So we'll we'll see. What is Bitcoin priced at right now? Let's see. Everything like Bitcoin is the threshold, right? So like obviously there's these other cryptos like XRP and stuff like that, but we don't care about those. Those will move in line with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's currently at 92 right now, which is good, but it's sitting flat right here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens over the next couple. So here's where it becomes a problem too. So like if the cuts happen, I think Bitcoin's going to drop even more because money's going to be cheap, fiat. I mean, who knows? It probably won't drop that much, but we'll see. We'll see where. iPhone said Trump did appoint Jerome Powell. Yeah, that's the thing. So Trump appointed, but he didn't realize that Powell was going to be like not agree with him on all topics, right? So I think now they're going to be vetting the next person way more, and they're going to be very soft on regulation. Yeah, because initially Trump and Powell were good, like around COVID time, right? Because they had to make cuts and stuff. They had to make things cheap because we were going through a black swan event. But over time, Powell realized that okay, we need to fix this, and then didn't go along with what Trump wanted. So we'll see. Michael said Trump appointed Powell, but that wasn't his first choice. Yeah, because like it's not all going to land on Trump, right? He's not going to be the main deciding factor. They still got there's different little hoops that they got to go through to decide who's going to actually be chosen. So I mean, we'll see. Yeah, Jesus said he wants a lackey that will fall in line. Exactly. Yeah, what Jesus mentioned, 100%. He wants someone like that, but I don't think they're going to be, the government's not going to let that happen. Like they're not going to be someone that literally will do what Trump says. They need to find some type of middle ground. All right, let's see. So we got so that the sell signal still hasn't came up, guys. Remember what I mentioned earlier? So the sell signal is still pending. Uh we'll see if this one here closes with the sell signal, then the next trade may come up. These are listed entries, they're not target entries. The next target entry is not for another 10 minutes or so. So we're watching as this starts to turn around. The reversal was estimated to happen right here on 718. So again, the algo is spot on with the reversal. If you guys look at my list of trades for the algo, there was a against momentum at 718. And see right here at 718, look how price is starting to turn around. Price pushed up, retrace, pushed up, and then reversal right here. So the algo identified the reversal right here at 718. We're now looking for this to kind of loop the other way. All right, we're looking for this to happen, right? So the sell signal here hasn't came up yet. There's going to be another no entry for 731. Again, like I said, there's a cluster of 4 trades here. So these clusters are anticipating the reversal to the downside. The reversal started here at 718, and the cluster is looking for this to push down lower. But we just have to have that sell signal up before the cluster can actually pan out for the most part. CJ said the sell signal is fighting hard to exist. I know. It's trying really hard to get there. It just hasn't closed yet, right? It's trying. I mean, it's really trying. Uh, if this is the case right here, okay, we finally got that sell signal. Um, there's gonna be another no entry for 732. Okay, so this one's coming up right here at 733, guys. If you guys want to take it, it is with momentum. It has a 9.37 max drawdown. It's kind of high. I typically like it to be below 8. It has a 50% overall probability of it winning either direction. 33% for buys, 63% for sells, has a 2.095 profit factor. So, uh, I mean, it's an okay trade. I would say, it meets the criteria for a minimum. It's obviously not target criteria. It has to be below 8%. So that's why I said it's a little too high for what I'd be looking for. Win rate's also not super high. It's at 50. However, the profit factor is good on this one. So if you guys want to take that trade, this is not a listed, I mean, it's a listed trade. It's not a target entry. So not one I would take, of course, because it doesn't meet my target entry criteria right here. But like I said, I'm not going to fade my analysis or the algo or any of that stuff. I'll let it kind of play through. We'll follow it and we'll see where it ends up going from here. But again, I'm not in the position. Actually, I'm gonna take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in the position. I'll put it back up if we want to take a look at it, but I'm definitely not in this position right here. Oh, looks like it probably didn't play through. Yep. So again, this is another reason why I use my criteria, right? Like there's lists here where it can be an okay trade, but for me personally, I want to have target criteria there. All right, so we have that right there. Let me check the next one's in about 4 minutes. It's going to be against momentum for a sell. We currently have a sell right here already. So if you guys want to take this as an MPSV2, this here looks like it's setting up. We have a sell momentum, retracement, confirmation. I usually don't like getting into trades right away like this because stuff like this happens where you kind of have the pullback and then it comes right back down lower. This might be something you guys are looking for. Let's check the news. So we had the gas stock change over here. The news was mixed. So it was negative and positive both ways. All right, looks like my trade's finally. All right, I gotta update this. So I'm updating my trader sync real quick. They double up on my trades here for some reason. All right, I don't know why it does this. For some reason, my trader sync, I noticed this happen a lot where it kind of doubles up on the positioning here. Let me see. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I'll show you guys in a little bit. Trader sync does this sometimes. I don't know why it does this. It's really annoying that it does this, but it sometimes it like double, if not triple logs trades. You guys will see in a few, because there's one day where it shows that I have like 100 and something trades. I didn't take 100 and something trades um last month. I mean, I'll show you guys shortly. Or no, actually I did. I think I took like 3 trades that day, that's why. Well, we'll see. I always have to just like deselect a couple of accounts here because sometimes they have like double actions. 7:38 right now, guys. Our next target entry is not for like another, let's see. It's not for like another 5 minutes, so I'm just updating my trader sync right now as we speak. So I can show you guys my trades for the month so far. Oh, um, okay. Let's scroll up real quick. Man, this is gonna take me longer than I thought. Okay, I gotta update my trader sync. Let me check the charts real quick. So we had a couple against momentums over here. There was one for a sell at 7:38. This here did not come up because there's a sell signal here. there was no trade there. There's another one right here that came up, so let me just put no entry on that one. There's one that's currently pending right now. Another against momentum. And this is supposed to be coming up shortly in about a few moments if you guys are looking to take that one. I hate when they do this. If you guys use TraderSync, you guys probably run through the same, or you guys ran through the same problem. It's like, I don't understand why does it, I mean, I guess because I upload it twice or three times, I guess, because sometimes it freezes. But yeah, it uploaded my trades like a crazy amount of times. So it shows I took like, let me see where I'm at. It shows that I took like, let me see. All right, so this trade's currently running right now, guys. The 740. The 740, this is against momentum, so obviously I wouldn't be looking to get into it, but if you guys are looking to take it, it's currently running in prop right there. So again, if you guys have access to my algo or if you guys have access to the premium here on the Discord, the trades are listed on there. We have a target entry, which is going to be setting up pretty soon. Um, yeah, I was trying to fix my trader sync, but there's just so much here to filter through. Um, all right, I'm gonna leave this one as is. I don't really. Okay, this one has to be adjusted for sure. Yeah, that's crazy. We've been using this algo for about 2 months now. So I'm looking at all the data. Here's a lot of data that I posted on the Discord. I'm just looking at our original post here. Yeah, it's kind of crazy because we used to post, or I used to post the the market outlooks, and we don't even do that anymore. It's kind of interesting to see the evolution of everything here. All right, we have the entry coming up right here at 744. So the entry at 744, it has a max drawdown of 5.61, overall profitability of or probability of 60%, 72% for buys, 44% for sells, profit factor of 2.68. Just looking at the statistics over here, kind of see how the stuff that typically happens when this trade comes up. I don't really see a pattern here with the previous trades, or at least not one that I can kind of use. If you guys want to take this trade, it's coming up shortly. Personally, I just don't like the volatility on this candle here. It's starting to flatten out a little bit, get lazy. The ATR is at 21. I'm gonna sit out on this one, guys. If you guys want to take this one right here, again, I'm trying to take my discretion out of this, but as you guys saw the discretion over here that I used to kind of avoid a certain trade, it's just the volatility kind of flattens out a bit. So this trade is currently running right now. I'm not in the position. You can see the long happen right there. It's going to be a ongoing process, guys, trying to pull my dis or put my discretion aside, but I saw how the volatility here is starting to slow down, kind of like what was happening here. And I didn't want to get caught in a pullback, right? Because the ATR is currently at 21. It's not super high, but it's enough to kind of stop me out if it does pull back a little bit or if it just stays flat. So this is an entry that's currently running right now. This is a target entry at 744. Oops. And it's currently running in profit. But again, I didn't want to sit in this position and hold on to it for like 5 or 6 minutes and then end up, kind of feeling uneasy about holding the position there. I do think it'll play through. This strat or this entry here has pretty good numbers for the most part. We've been trying to take this entry for a while, but it actually hasn't came up. So if you look over here on the previous days, it was a no entry on Tuesday. It was a no entry on Monday. It was no entry on last Friday. No entry on Thursday before that. And it just hasn't been the last time that trade came up was like on the 3rd of Wednesday. Trade's looking good though. It looks like it's gonna hit. So the last time this trade actually came up was on Wednesday the 3rd, and it wasn't even a target entry. Good entry, but um, yeah, there's typically a lot of no entries for this specific one. That's 744 actually. Those are 743. Yes, the last time it came up was on Wednesday, December 3rd, right here. This is why it's important that we have the data set here because the data helps us identify like how these trades perform and how they react in the past. So December 2nd, December 30 came up, both wins. But ever since then, it was just no entries. It's about a hit right there, full TP almost. I'm like kind of kicking myself now. I'm like, I should have taken it. Again, the discretion here is my problem. And I have to get over it. Eventually I'll get over it. It's just gonna be a matter of time until I can start to trust these entries. Yep, full TP right there. So if you guys caught that, nice work. If you guys didn't, it's fine. We're still in profit for this day. So let me show you guys or I'm still trying to fix my trader sync. I think this is what's throwing me off too. I'm trying to fix my trader sync and it's like it's been a little more work than I thought it would be. Trying to look at our stats for September. Did I not post anything for September? All right, so the next entry coming up is going to be at 754 against momentum. So in about 2 minutes, it's going to come up shortly. It's going to be a reversal pattern. I don't know if it's going to come up or if it's going to actually show, but that's what's next. Mhm. Yeah, for some reason, I don't have anything here for September. I was trying to figure out. It's weird. I was trying to figure out if the data set was good for September, but I don't have any I don't have any documentation of September for some reason. Um, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna show you guys the trader sync. I was trying to update it here. But let's see where it's at. All right, let me check the chat real quick. Nice. Jonathan caught that 744 entry. Paul got it. Talanji got it. Nice work. Talanji's up 5R for the day. Paul's up 2,500 for the day, and he's done. Nice work, guys. Solid profit so far. Here is my trader sync. So I only took one trade today. I've only taken 2 trades this whole week. So you can see over here on Monday, we took the lost 24,200. And then for today, I took the win, full TP for 44,000. So pretty good day. The profits came out exactly how they were supposed to. We're in net profit now for the week, 20,800. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. Here's my performance for the year so far. So here is pretty much everything from December 2nd up until now. I've accumulated a gross profit of 1,126,690 overall. My net return is about a mil. My win rate, I don't know if this win rate's correct because, like I said, it kind of doubled up on position. So I don't know if this is correct, but it's at 60.91. I feel like it should be higher, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. My profit factor is 1.58. So basically, for every loss, I make 1.58 wins. I don't know if this is correct. These might be a little off, but the profits are correct. Because even if it doubled up, it would have just gave it more losses and more wins. But these over here, they might be slightly off. I think this should be closer to 2. Or actually, no, this looks right. Because I didn't start doing a 1 to 2 until like middle of the year. So this should be a bit right. And this should be a bit right. But yeah, these are my stats for the year, and these are my stats for the day. So looks like we're starting to get back on track. If you look back to like November, we only had 3 trading days, slight profit, but December is already looking good so far with just 2 trading days. So we'll keep going, and we'll see what we got here next. So the next entry, which was at 50, was right here. So this one came up. This one is also a full TP, it looks like, or it's currently still running. We have a pending sell momentum here. If the sell momentum comes up, then we're going to be done for the day. Or actually, we are kind of done. We're done for the day because this over here. So this is the next target entry. It was for a sell, but it's not going to meet the criteria because we would have to. I mean, the sell momentum would have to come up before it. So we're done with our official entries for the day. Or I'll put up the list of trades here. Let me just add this up real quick, or not add this up, but let me include everything that needs to be included. So this one over here hit full TP. That was a win, no trade because it was against momentum. This one over here won for 2R. This here was a win, no trade. This one over here was no entry. And we have one more coming up. So I'll just wait for that last one. But here, I'll put the list of trades on the chart so that you guys can see. A lot of trades today. Today was actually pretty good. So it pretty much today was exactly what we thought it would be, right? I mentioned Monday, Tuesday was kind of whack because there just was a lot of no entries. Today there were actually a lot more entries than the previous days. So these are the listed trades for the day. We have another one coming up right here at 7:55. This is probably going to be a no entry because it's coming up in a minute and it's going to be with momentum for a buy. So with no buy signal here, there's not going to be an entry. But overall, that's kind of where we're at. Hey, CJ, just saw your picture right now. Let's see. So these are CJ's entries for the day. He took the 10-minute entries. It looks really similar to yesterday, huh? What TP stop loss are you using, CJ, for yours? Curious. Yeah, so those are your 10-minute entries for the day. 640, 650, 720. Exited the 750 early because it was getting close to 720 reversal. And the sell signal kept pending on the 1 minute. Okay. Let me see if I could kind of pinpoint what your target TP target was. So 700. It looks like, let's see, I'm gonna take a look. So your entry was like right here, right after that. Basically get that small red doji looking candle. Trying to see where it's at. I don't see it on here. All right, where we got the rejection from here. I think you got in from right here. So big red. There you go. Yeah, so you got in from right here. I'm just gonna try to guesstimate. Looks like you did like maybe a 50 to 80-40. Okay, perfect. So 80-40. Gotcha. Yeah, but you pulled that one out early, right? Okay, no, that's good to know. I'm just curious because I kind of want to run the and I'll put it in my notes right now actually. I'll run the 10-minute as well. Good to know. Darren said, CJ, share your entries before market open, please. Yeah, if you want to share them, great. That'd be cool. Like if you want to post it under the algo chat. I'll try to look at them myself because the 10 minutes is actually easier to identify. Um, so if you're gonna do the 10-minute, you probably wouldn't care about the direction so much because you're just the 10-minute signals they're a lot bigger and they're thicker, so like and they last for a long time. So like you don't really have to like be very conscious of the direction because it'll probably be in the direction of the trend. But I will take a look at it. Jesus said I overtraded, took a small loss, got to continue working on discipline. That's fine. Yeah, it happens, Jesus. Same with me. I'm trying to follow the algo as is, but like I said, my discretion just kind of gets in the way sometimes. Like this would have been a great second entry, right? 744. There's just a couple of things here that threw me off. The low volatility plus the red candle. And it's just gonna take some time for me to get over that. Darren over here locked in some good profit. So nice work, Darren. Let's see. Both of you guys, you and Jonathan locked in some pretty good profit. Paul too, Talanji, everybody. Um, I gotta post up my profits too. So let's see. We got team profits. So we got Darren's profits right here. Darren locked in 2,417 for the day. And then we got Jonathan over here as well. Locked in about 1,000. Nice work, Jonathan. So great work to you guys right there. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them in. I will post up my profits here as well. Let me see after. I think I screenshotted it already. Man, but that second win would have been nice, right? So I think now that we're having these entries come up, my confidence is starting to build back up. I've been, for the most part, very conservative with our trades, but now that we're starting to see these wins come up more often, um, obviously the confidence here, it's a big confidence booster in a sense. Because we had a pretty slow November, right? Like I had 3 trades for the entire month of November. This kind of threw me off a little bit because I'm not used to not taking trades. Um, oops. Yeah, I'm not used to not taking trades, so um, yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of a mind fuck in a sense because like I want to take trades, but their trades just don't come up, and then now they're coming up, so it's like okay, whatever. So there goes the trades for that, and then I'm gonna post the profits right here. Let's see if Miriam's on here. No, she's not. Yeah, so Miriam asked me to decrease her contract size. That's why you'll see her here with like a little bit of a negative because she asked me to decrease it. She should have just left it at where it was because she'd be back in profit. But it's okay. Everybody else is back in profit. So you can see everybody's accounts here. The trades were taken on the hedge fund clients. So obviously everybody should be back in profit. This is my personal account. I told you I ate that loss just by myself yesterday because it didn't feel for anybody else, but it's okay. It's one more win and then I'm gonna be back in profit on top. Hopefully tomorrow will be good just like today. And we can keep this going. So other than that, let me Darren's asking Sean, is CJ able to post on the algo channel? Yes. Yeah, he can. Thanks, CJ. Yeah, if you want to post it, that'd be great. Just so like, people can follow along as well. You can post it in the algo channel. It's open to everybody, I think. Or yeah. So it's an open chat where you can post up. So let me go ahead and take a screenshot of basically my stats for the month so far. And then we'll wrap this up. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to be done shortly. The thing is, I haven't posted my trades or my profits in a long time. It's kind of weird. I don't even remember how to do it anymore because we just haven't had any trades. It's funny because a lot of people have been asking me like, how come you're not posting anymore? I mean, I want to post, but I just haven't had any trades. Today we finally have a trade for this week, and I can finally post profits again. Yeah, it's kind of weird being able to post profits because it's been a long time. I think the last time I took a trade was almost like 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. All right, I'll post this over here on the Discord as well. Um, all right, posted. So here are my profits, and here's Jarrell's profits as well. Nice work, Jarrell. I know I haven't seen you post in a while either. You've been on that slow roll for a bit. All right, here is your Earl's profits. Nice work, guys. You guys did pretty good. If you guys have more profits to post up, feel free to send them up. I think this is going to help build our confidence again with not just the algo, but just trading in general because we haven't traded in a while. Here are Jarrell's profits. He locked in about 1,000 on the first account, 3,000 on the second, 1,000 for the rest. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 for the day. Nice work, Jarrell. And then here are my statistics for the month. So I took 2 trades for this month so far, a loss on Monday. I lost 24,000, one today, 44,000. So net profit of 19,800 for the month so far for December. And here are my profits for the year. So pretty decent. I mean, I haven't taken very many trades, so there's not much fluctuation there with wins or losses, but I'm hoping the rest of December continues to be good. Today was actually a really good day. If you look at the spreadsheet, let's see, I got the spreadsheet over here. So overall, today was pretty good. I mean, let's take a look at so right here on the 10th, this is today. This is going to be a no entry, of course. So it was a 2-hour day for every trade that came up. If we were to count the against momentum, it actually would have been higher. So it'd been more of a 6-hour day almost because we had 3 wins right here that were unaccounted for this against momentum, this one and this one. So overall, it would have been closer to like a 6-hour day. And then for the target entries, it is a 3-hour day. I only took one trade, so I'm at 2 hour, but if I took the other one right there, it would have been a 3-hour day. So overall, I mean, pretty good given that, we're dealing with this kind of choppy market. Yeah, overall, I mean, it's pretty solid. A lot locked in 60 points for the day. Nice work. Paul said, by the way, guys, I have an interview for a job in Utah where my mom-in-law lives. I live in North Carolina right now. So my life may be changing a lot. Wish me luck. Yeah, definitely. Good luck, Paul. 100%. I have a meeting with the Apex executives on Thursday. So guys, big things coming from Apex. I don't know exactly what, but big things for sure. I'm gonna get interviewed on Thursday. They basically want to interview me, and then we're gonna go get dinner, and they're gonna be posting content on Apex for me. If you guys don't remember, Apex, they got together their top 200 traders, and they're basically sending us around to places. See, I got some cool pictures. I didn't realize Apex had this. I think this is a cool thing to. I'm gonna get my daughter real quick. Let me see if I can get the pictures here. Mhm. All right, here comes everybody's boss, Alina. But yeah, let me show you guys the pictures real quick. So I didn't realize Apex has a mansion in like Texas that they kind of like have events at and stuff. And these are pictures from it. It's pretty cool. So this is like the garage in Ape for Apex. It's a crazy house, huh? It's like a mansion in Texas that Apex has where they host events, and I think this is like Daryl's house, who's the CEO and whatnot. But yeah, crazy house. It's just like a show house basically. They're looking to send, basically all the top traders here to kind of meet and stuff. But yeah, this is the Apex house in Texas. Pretty crazy. There's a couple events going on, so I think this next year they're going to be sending us to New York to meet everybody. They're sending us to Texas to have that group meet with like the top 200 traders in the US, and then they're sending us to Miami for a big event as well. So a lot of big things coming up with Apex. If you guys are still using Apex, again, if you guys use the code that I give you guys, that gives you guys like the highest discount because we have like a very special code that we use that not everybody else has. Um, but yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that. I'll be trading with you guys tomorrow, but like throughout the day, I'll be with like the Apex executives, kind of just doing stuff, and I'll hopefully dig into some information there, and I'll get some more codes for accounts. If you guys want, let me see. I think I still have the codes from the other accounts. I'll probably do something so I could give you guys the codes. We'll do some sort of contest or something. I think I have a list of code that I can give you guys to sign up for any account with Apex. It's just not the best time right now because we're on promo. But when the promo's over, it'd be good to have like, a free 300K account or something like that to just run the algo trades. I think that'd be cool to just run the algo trades and then see how long it takes you to pass an account, get funded and stuff like that. But all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for the day. Let's see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. I think we saw everything here. Yeah, CJ said Bernard is very pleased that you guys trust in him is getting stronger. Let's keep it and get these profits. But yeah, guys, again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Again, these are all the profits that I locked in for the day. If you do the math, it adds up to about 40,000, 44,000 right here. Here's my trader sync. Yeah, those are the stats for December so far. So hopefully we have another good couple weeks, and then we can keep adding this up and building from here, and then we can close out this year pretty strong. All right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys, see you guys later.